Hi church, thanks for joining us today. Wherever you are, I just want to take the opportunity to encourage you. You may have had labels, names, words spoken of you in the past. You may have embraced things that are not true of yourself. You may be thinking them yourself, things that are bringing you down in your spirit and even physically. But what we want to declare today and sing is that we are who God says we are. You are a child of God. You are chosen. You're not forsaken. God is for you. So let's celebrate that truth and really embrace that today. We'll sing, who am I? Who am I that the highest would welcome me? I was lost, but he brought me for his love for me. Oh, his love for me. Who the sun sets free. Oh, he's free indeed. I'm a child of God. Yes, I am. Come free at last. Free at last. He has ransomed me. His grace runs deep. While I was a slave to sin, Jesus died for me. Yes, he died for me. Who the sun sets free. Oh, he's free indeed. I'm a child of God. Yes, I am. In my Father's house, there's a place for me. I'm a child of God. Yes, I am. For I am chosen. I am chosen, not forsaken. I am who you say I am. You are for me, not against me. I am who you say I am. Yes, I am chosen, not forsaken. I am who you say I am. You are for me, not against me. I am who you say I am. Oh, I am who you say I am. Who the sun sets free. Oh, he's free indeed. I'm a child of God. Yes, I am. In my Father's house, there's a place for me. I'm a child of God. Yes, I am. In my Father's house, there's a place for me. I'm a child of God. Yes, I am. Thank you, Lord, for calling us, for choosing us, giving us purpose in our life, redeeming us, adopting us into your family. Thank you, Lord, that we are chosen, not forsaken, chosen, not forsaken. 'Cause I am chosen, not forsaken. I am who you say I am. You are for me, not against me. I am who you say I am. Yes, I am chosen, not forsaken. I am who you say I am. You are Come my chains are gone. My chains are gone. I've been set free. My God, my Savior, ransomed me. And like His love, His mercy reigns, unending love, amazing grace. Through many dangerous toils and snares, I already come. But His grace, His grace hath brought me safe thus far, and grace it will lead me home. My chains are gone, I've been set free. My God, my Savior, ransomed me. And like the love, His mercy reigns, unending love, amazing. Come my chains are gone. I've been set free. My God, my Savior, ransomed me. And like His love, His mercy reigns, unending love, amazing grace. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun. We know less days to sing. Oh, God's praise than when we first begun. Oh Lord, we thank you for your amazing grace, for that anthem that's been sung throughout the generations and centuries, Lord. Just as true today as it was when it was first written, as it was since the beginning of creation, Lord. Your amazing grace. Lord, let it fill us up, fill our hearts again. Give us a new awareness just of how amazing your grace is. May that carry us into your word now. We want to know more of you, Lord. So we seek you this morning as children of God and your amazing grace. We come to look at your word, Lord, and ask you to speak. For the glory of your name, Lord Jesus. Amen.
Take one.
Close.
I know. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
So, I'm 19. I've been a part of Crossgate, I think, since I was 2. That's what my parents tell me anyway. And I've really just grown up in Crossgate. And then that's sort of how I found God. I think, to be honest, I don't actually really remember when I first gave my life to Christ. But I would say it was around age 7. But then it truly became my faith when I went into high school, and we started youth, and I really just started to discover that what it was that I truly believed and why I believed it. And that's, yeah.
So as growing up in your faith, has it always been easy? Were there moments of struggles in high school?
Definitely in high school, but when I was younger and didn't really know what I was believing, it was more just testing the waters and figuring out what it was. But then as I got into high school and became more confident in my faith and knowing who God was, and I really started to believe, that's when the struggle hit. And after a week in Spring Harvest, a holiday camp in France that I went to, I really realised how I needed to stand firm in my faith, and then I gained the confidence to actually talk about it at school, which was then met with resistance, and the people started to then take the mick out of me, make jokes. Some people did ask genuine questions, and in those moments I was able to plant seeds, but the hardest part was having people who I considered friends at the time making fun of me, and just, yeah, that was a big struggle, as well as exams and the stress of high school anyway. Yeah.
What was the biggest lesson that you took from people like taking the mick out of you for your faith?
I think that's when I really started to learn to not let other people's opinions bother me. Still something I'm working on though, and that's when I really realised that it was God whose opinion mattered most, and not other people's, and not the world's.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. And I think also having core people around you really helps. So like you said, you went to youth, and knowing that you can still go to this safe space where there are people that are kind of like-minded also was a big help for you. In Proverbs 27:17, it says, "Iron sharpens an iron, and so should one man sharpen another." So who are some key people in your life, and what did you learn from them?
There have been so many people. The main two are a couple that are just major influences in my life, Megan and Nate Turner. So they're missionaries that came over from America in about 2017. Megan then became my mentor, and it was in those years where I learned what worship was, and they took me to places and gave me opportunities where I could discover that worship wasn't just singing, worship wasn't just actions, it was a posture and a way of living and actions through that, but then as well using dance as a way of worship. And Megan really influenced that and taught me or showed me and gave me opportunities where I could discover more of that with Christ.
So with your newfound wisdom of worship being more than just like singing, what did you do with those newfound wisdom, the gifts that you just discovered?
So I think when I did start learning this, and along with the lesson of God's opinion being the main opinion, or the only opinion that mattered, my worship style changed within church and within youth, and I became more confident and was like, this is my time with God. It's not just a time to talk and just to chill, it's a time to encounter God. But then I also wanted to take it a step further and lead other people into that as well. And so for a few months I did have some girls in a little group where we were dancing, and that's within kids' church and within around Christmas as well, with Janine, who's amazing.
So after obviously discovering this new gift and something that you were passionate about, COVID hit. How did that affect you and your ministry, but also your walk with Christ?
During COVID, I think for many people as well, it kind of just hit a brick wall. And throughout COVID, I was a key worker and working a lot more than I was used to, going from a Saturday girl to a full-time job. I was then in the world, and even though we are called to be in the world and not of it, during this time I was of the world, and so being influenced very much by the people around me. But then around August time, was like when I realised where I was at, and I was like, no, this needs to change. And so I began to look for somewhere that was going to be pouring into me rather than rather than me pouring into my work. And then when I was searching, someone sent me a video about Jesus Culture School of Leadership, so then I applied, and within weeks, I think maybe even a few days, I was starting school. And at the same time, the opportunity of interning at Crossgate came along, and it was just incredible timing, which is so clearly God.
Mm. So how was that season of doing Jesus Culture and interning for the church?
It was incredible. So doing them alongside each other was amazing, because I got to learn from Jesus Culture and have them talk and just discussions about it, but then I was able to put into practice within the internship what I was already learning, and the opportunities that I got within the internship and what I was doing at Crossgate just matched so perfectly along with the people within Crossgate and what they were telling me, and building me up in that. And then it also led into me growing in my position at work as well, which, with the stuff I'd learnt from both things, was then perfect timing again to go into this position, knowing what I had learnt and putting it into practice, to then go into this strong.
Nice, that's really good. And through that season, God spoke to you even more of what to do in the next stages, right? Was there a point where you're kind of like, okay, this is for now, but then what do I do next?
Yeah, towards the end of Jesus Culture, which was a 6-month course, there was a lot of conversation about risk taking and choosing opportunities. And within those few weeks, there were a few opportunities coming up, and I was also looking around for other things to do with your help. And even though there were some of the opportunities I did want to take, I was really led towards Bethel School of Supernatural Ministry. And again, God's timing was insane, with me finishing Jesus Culture, the next week having my interview and gaining a place to Bethel, and how it worked was so perfect, as well as the conversations I was having around that was, have you already used this word, but insane. It was just, the only word to describe it is insane.
Your next stages are officially announced. It's Bethel, yeah.
Yes. Bethel School of Supernatural Ministry, which I'm so excited about, but really nervous at the same time. Yeah. So to end, I just wanted to share the psalm that when I was reading really just reflected a lot of stuff that God has taught me in my life, and that I can see God has done in my life as well. So it's Psalm 23, and it's, "The Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He refreshes my soul. He guides me along the right paths for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. Surely your goodness and love will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. The main verse in this that has really stuck out to me was the very first one, and how I lack nothing, and that has been so true throughout my life, where opportunities have come up where I've needed money and God's provided multiple times, and grades within school, and just rings so true throughout my whole life. But then the last verse as well is something I've been clinging to for encouragement, and I will hold on to for the rest of my life.
Hide me now under your wings. Cover me within your mighty hands. When the oceans rise and thunders roar, I will soar with you above the storm. Father, you are king over the flood, and I will be still, know you are God. Yes, Lord. Find rest